Next phase or half phase of reopening in Kansas starts today. KMBC9's Matt Evans is live in Leawood to walk us through what to expect this morning. Hey, Matt.
Good morning to you, Rob. Today was going to be the beginning of phase 2 of Governor Kelly's reopening Kansas Ad Astra plan, but now she's walked things back a little bit, slowed things down a little bit after she says that the virus transmission rate in the state of Kansas was not declining at the trajectory that the state would like to see in order to fully move on to phase 2. So that's why she created phase 1.5, which begins today, Rob, and some things are able to reopen. For example, salons and barbershops, they can reopen, but with appointments only. Gyms, they're able to reopen today as well. No in-person classes are allowed. In-person graduation ceremonies can now be held with a 10-person limit, or drive-through ceremonies can be held as long as no more than 10 people are outside their cars in the same area at the same time. Places like bars and movie theaters, non-tribal casinos, museums, and community centers, and a whole lot of other things still must remain closed throughout this phase 1.5. Essentially, what this half phase does is it moves back the schedule by a couple of weeks for the reopening plans in the state of Kansas. Phase 2 might begin in early June. At the earliest, it'll begin in early June. But again, Governor Kelly will be watching the virus spread and how much it spreads throughout Kansas during this month of May before moving on to phase 2. Live in Leawood this morning, Matt Evans, KMBC 9 News.
Matt, thank you. And today marks the beginning of a phased opening plan for parks in Kansas City, Missouri. Starting today, day camps for kids can open along with fitness facilities by reservation only. Low contact sports like golf and tennis will be allowed and dog parks will be open. Social distancing is required in every case. 3 city fountains will also be turned on. Eventually, the next phase will allow open gym time in community centers and open ice skating. Adult sports leagues and tournaments will have to wait until phase 3. Start dates for phases 2 and 3 haven't been announced yet. We'll keep you posted on the latest. And here is a look at the coronavirus trend in Missouri. Early this month, just about a third of COVID-19 tests came back positive. As of Sunday, that number has dropped significantly to a little more than 4%. Well, nearly 17% of tests came back positive in Kansas early this month. The numbers are now just over 10%. The World Health Organization says that anything under 10% is encouraging news. And here in the Kansas City metro area, 18 new cases of COVID-19 are being reported. That brings the total number of cases in the metro to nearly 4,300. The greatest number of cases are in Wyandotte County, where we're seeing more than 1,100. We're also watching some 958 cases in Leavenworth County and 843 in Kansas City, Missouri. Well, today, about 7,000 auto workers will go back to work at the Ford assembly plant in Clay Como. And when they do, Ford plans to offer COVID-19 testing to anyone with symptoms of the virus. KMBC9's Martin Augustine live this morning at the plant. Martin.
Rob, the idea here is to get ahead of the virus and then stay ahead of the virus, with so many people coming back to work here in Clay Como. On Friday, Missouri Governor Mike Parson got a look at the steps Ford's taking to mitigate the risk of the virus there on the assembly line through no-touch temperature scans for everybody showing up to work and plenty of protective gear such as face shields and face masks. But Ford now has set up a testing plan if someone has COVID-19 symptoms. If an employee develops those symptoms, the dry cough, fever, shortness of breath, they'll be sent for a drive-through test at Liberty Hospital and should have a result within 24 hours. If an employee does test positive, then Ford will track down everyone working in close contact with that person and have everyone self-quarantine for 2 weeks. Ford has put similar testing protocols into place at plants in Michigan, Kentucky, and Illinois. Reporting live in Clay Como, Martin Augustine, KMBC 9 News.
Martin, thanks so much. So more than 1,000 Cerner employees are headed back to the office today as part of the company's slow reopening plan. About 14,000 work in the KC area. Company leaders tell us they're starting with about 8 to 9% of their local workforce in the office. Eventually, we're told that half the workers will be on campus and half will work from home. Offices will look different. Desks are being spread apart and signs will remind employees about best practices. Company leaders tell us that one of the most important steps happens before employees ever get to work.
First is check your health each morning, be responsible, and don't come into the office if you're not feeling well. If we have someone that feels like they've been exposed or have a family member exposed or for some reason starting not to feel well, we do contact tracing. We ourselves do it, as well as the health department does that as well. And we follow up with anyone that associate may have been in contact with and do that exposure checking.
Well, if employees do think they're getting sick, Cerner has its own contact tracing and testing, along with services provided by local health officials. Here's a reminder of the symptoms of COVID-19, according to the CDC. The virus can cause a fever, cough, shortness of breath, chills, muscle pain, headache, sore throat, or even a new loss of taste or smell. Well, Missouri and Kansas, along with 47 other states, are relaxing restrictions when it comes to quarantines. ABC's Alex Perche is watching the trend across the country.
Across the country, warm weather making social distancing more difficult. This was a scene in New York City over the weekend. Crowds outside of bars, their to-go drinks in hand.
I'm not comfortable at all with people congregating outside bars. And if we have to shut places down, we will.
The crowds worrisome for city leaders, but bars and restaurants have been hit hard by the pandemic. Restaurant owners now telling researchers if the crisis lasts 6 months, they'll have about a 15% chance of survival. As of today, nearly every state is easing restrictions, though several are seeing a rise in cases, according to a New York Times analysis. That includes Texas, which is looking to lift additional restrictions. The Lone Star State had more than 700 new cases reported near Amarillo on Saturday, many stemming from meatpacking plants. Texas has tested just under 700,000 people. It has a population of 29 million. Quarantine fatigue is setting in. In Florida, chaos after a large group gathered for a block party near Orlando.
Hands up! Hands up!
7 people were arrested after deputies say they were hit with glass bottles. This as the state eases restrictions on gyms. In New Jersey, allowing curbside pickup at retail stores. But federal chairman Jerome Powell warning of a long road to recovery.
This economy will recover. It may take a while. It may take a period of time. It could stretch through the end of next year. We really don't know.
President Trump has been pushing to get the country back up and running, made an unannounced call into a live PGA event, saying he was happy pro golfers are back on the course.